India today was the first to report the sacking of MS Dhoni as Pune Supergiants captain yesterday. Arguably, it's the biggest news break of this year's IPL even before the season kicks off and definitely dominated the auctions as well. But is this a wise decision by the franchise? Fans and experts are divided.
The average score 150 on this ground. The good thing, normally when you look at
captain for 9 running years in IPL.
absolutely deserving champions, they've been the better side on the big day, Sunny. They have been indeed.
Icon for Chennai for 8 years. Winner of 2 IPL trophies. But for Pune, MS Dhoni has turned out to be second best to Steven Smith. The decision to drop Dhoni as captain of the Pune team has stunned everyone, but the co-owner seems convinced.
When we went into the last season, we went in with expectations that we will do very well. We landed up second from the bottom. We wanted a young captain. We had the luxury of having Steve Smith and Faf du Plessis, 2 international world-class captains in our team. And we decided to have Steve.
Aware, and he's down the pitch, and that's what he's done. He's taken it on the.
So is a 28-year-old Smith better than the wise and experienced 36-year-old Dhoni?
Well, Steve Smith is very excited. Steve Smith is already into it. We've been discussing the finer details of the auction strategy. He's had meetings with Flem, our coach, and I think he's completely into it.
Arguably, the 2016 season was the worst for Dhoni in terms of runs, but Smith was only marginally more successful as a batsman in the season gone by. Pune finished 7th out of 8 teams, managing just 5 wins out of 14 matches. But should Dhoni take all of that blame alone?
But we needed to have a fitter team, and that's why we dropped 11 players, many of whom are physically completely unfit and past their prime.
Replacing Dhoni is a bold decision, but it has been a mixed bag for fans. There is no denying that Dhoni was a bigger crowd puller than Smith. Will the Australian be successful in filling the big boots? Sports Bureau, India Today.
All right, co-owner of the Pune Supergiants, Sanjeev Goenka, is now joining us live, first and exclusive after the IPL auction today. Sanjeev Goenka, thanks a lot for joining us. As we just played out that story, obviously dropping somebody like MS Dhoni is a very, very tough decision. Many are calling it vain. Is this a wise decision, Sanjeev Goenka, or a vain decision? And how difficult was this? Mr. Goenka, can you hear me?
Well, you know, frankly, I mean, I've said this before and I'll say this again. I have I'm not shy to admit that I'm one of the biggest fans of Dhoni. He is a great mind, he's a great leader. And over the last 14 months that I've got to know him, I've started admiring him more as an individual as well. It was a difficult decision. We wanted to have a younger person to lead the side. Steve has actually done a good job in Australia. He's been captaining for about 20 months or maybe slightly more. And he's taken Australia from, they were quite low, and he's built the team up, and he's done a good job.
Right. But how do you compare your new captain, Steve Smith, to Dhoni? You know, one can argue he hasn't had such a great record in the matches he's captained in the past for other teams.
You cannot compare the track record of somebody who's had 10-15 years and somebody who's starting out afresh. But it is a question of an approach you want to take. We felt that we needed to go with a younger captain.
Right. All right. I also am joined by our consulting editor Boria Majumdar and former India cricketer Deep Das Gupta. Let me just get their quick reactions on what Sanjeev Goenka has just said. So stay with us. Boria, defending his decision, once again reiterating they wanted a younger captain. But many are arguing, is this a decisive move or a disastrous move? Wise or vain?
Can be both. Decisively disastrous or decisively superb. We can only answer on 21st of May, or rather 14th of May, when the playoffs are decided. The fact is, there is no doubt this is a decisive move, because Sanjeev Goenka, you can ask him this, if I know right, has been toying with this idea for the last 6 months. That is what he said. Soon after the season ended, he's been talking to Steve Smith for the last 4 months. So it's not a hasty call, that's a fact. It's a decisive call, well thought out, collective call with his management. Whether it's a right call or a wrong call, we are nobody to debate. You know, it's his team and he is the singular owner. He's a single owner, so it's his call. Whether disastrous or not, Shivani, as I said, let's wait for the IPL. But the fact is, Dhoni is still there as a player, and I have the highest regard for Dhoni, the professional. So we will still see the legend in Pune. Question is, can Steve get the best out of him? 14th of May, we will have the answer.
Right, Deep Das Gupta, this is the first ever sacking for MS Dhoni, isn't it? He's never had to see that day. How surprised are you?
Well, I mean, that's the nature of the beast. That's what IPL is all about. But you know what? For me, the most important thing in T20, especially IPL, is clarity. So if there's a difference of vision there, it's better to, you know, kind of come to a situation where there is no ambiguity in terms of what comes down, what filters down to the players. So I think the policy, the vision, there has to be a lot of clarity, and as Mr. Goenka mentioned, they have a clear policy and a clear vision there. And the idea is that, the idea is to go with clarity, because IPL, it's over by 45-50 days. You're playing every second, third day. So you know, the one most important thing that you need in the setup is clarity. And I believe anything which is affecting clarity amongst players, amongst the team or the franchisee should be dealt with.
Right. Rasesh Mandani tracked all the developments in Bengaluru and interacted with Sanjeev Goenka as well there. Rasesh, what were the reactions you picked up on this very, very big decision just a day before the auctions broken right here in India today?
Yes, it was a talking point, Shivani. You know, slightly sort of overshadowing Ben Stokes's, you know, the prize money that is taking home as well, and unexpected line. Perhaps the last time we can think of, you know, the sort of this franchise captaincy sacking, unsacking situation was with Saurav Ganguly and Knight Riders and Shah Rukh Khan, and you know, and now this, and perhaps you know, I also asked Sanjeev Goenka whether Dhoni quitting as India's one-day captain made the decision easier, and he said that what the Indian selectors did had no bearing on the decision that he would make. He also said that it's important to separate the brand from a performer. So I think you know, you've got to give it to the franchise owner that you know, he's ready to take the bull by the horns and at least not mincing words with this decision. And it's important for the franchise to have confidence in the captain. I would think there would be some hurt in Dhoni. It would be almost inhuman for him not to feel hurt by this. Whether he can channelize this towards performance of the franchise, we'll wait and see.
But Boria, the big question is there too much emphasis on a younger captain? That's what you heard from Sanjeev Goenka over and over again. Is there too much emphasis on youth? I mean, there's not that big a difference between a 28-year-old and a 36-year-old.
Shivani, he's being politically correct at one level. The difference is he doesn't believe in Dhoni's vision. I mean, I think it's a difference in vision, as Rashesh was rightly saying. And this holy cow syndrome doesn't work for me. You know, whole of Calcutta was up in arms when Shah Rukh Khan replaced Saurav Ganguly. Can Steve Smith do that? For me, the one and only thing is, what will Steve Smith result in the Pune team? Can MS Dhoni, as a player, as a batsman, as a wicketkeeper, contribute, or can Smith get him to contribute? That will make or break Sanjeev Goenka's decision. Decisively disastrous or decisively breathtaking will be answered middle of May. But this whole holy cow, Dhoni cannot be removed, Saurav cannot be removed, Sachin cannot be removed, doesn't work. IPL, cutthroat, ruthless competition, franchise competition, business-based competition. It's the owner's den.
So, Deep, is this, as you said, just the nature of the beast, just the nature of the game? And has cricket also changed in that sense that, as Boria said, there are no longer any holy cows in cricket?
I mean, listen, obviously the game is bigger than any individual. I mean, there's no two ways about it. But when you look at IPL, listen, the internal dynamics are totally different. It's about cricket, it's about economics, it's about a lot of other issues as well. So obviously what Boria said is I completely agree. I mean, end of the day, it's about the team. It's not about individuals. It's about how a team performs. And unfortunately, last year wasn't a great experience for RPSG. And I'm sure Mr. Goenka is looking to change that experience this year.
All right, decisive or disastrous, we'll just have to wait and see. The big question is, can Steve Smith be successful leading this side and coming out of the shadows of MS Dhoni? Those are big shoes to fill. That will be the big talking point as we go ahead. A big thanks to all our guests for joining us, especially Sanjeev Goenka for coming out and clarifying his decision on MS Dhoni. Time for a very short break. On the other side, as we promised, we'll get you all the lowdown from what happened in the IPL auctions earlier today. Who were the big buys? Welcome back. A total of 66 players sold, with English players Ben Stokes at 14.5 crores and Taimal Mills at 12 crores getting the highest bids at the IPL auction earlier today. However, India pacer Ishant Sharma was the one big name to miss out completely. Here's a detailed report.
English players who made merry at the IPL 10 auction. As anticipated, there was intense bidding for Ben Stokes. The all-rounder became the second highest buy in IPL auction history, with Pune grabbing him for a whopping 14.5 crores. The second highest bid was a surprise, as England's T20 specialist Taimal Mills earned a mega deal of 12 crores for his debut season with Virat's Bangalore team. Others who made it big in the auction are South African pace sensation Kagiso Rabada, Kiwi seamer Trent Bolt, both sold at 5 crores each to Delhi and Kolkata respectively. Delhi bolstered their pace attack, buying Australian paceman Pat Cummins for 4.5 crores. Another Englishman who made it big was all-rounder Chris Wokes, who got a 4.2 crore deal from two-time champions Kolkata. Defending champions Hyderabad showed great faith in Afghanistan international Rashid Khan, the 18-year-old leg spinner whose base price was just 50 lakhs and was bought for 4 crores. There was a good fight for some local talent as well. In the uncapped category, Tamil Nadu's T. Natarajan attracted the highest bid at 3 crores. Hyderabad got the services of local boy Mohammad Siraj for 2.6 crore. Aniket Chaudhary, the left-arm quick who had helped Indian batsmen prepare for Mitchell Starc for the upcoming Test series against Australia, was sold for 2 crore to Bangalore. There was disappointment for many international stars as well. Biggest of them was of course Ishant Sharma, who was in the top draw but failed to attract any buyer. India international Irfan Pathan and Pragyan Ojha too went unsold. There were no takers for number 1 T20 and ODI bowler Imran Tahir. England's Alex Hales and former Kiwi skipper Ross Taylor too failed to attract a buyer.
The talking point of this IPL auction was Ben Stokes, English all-rounder and man in form, taking home a whopping 14.5 crore rupees, even more than the take-home sums of the Virat Kohlis and MS Dhonis of the world. While Ishant Sharma and Irfan Pathan, two of India's finest seam and swing bowlers of their time, finding no takers. Just goes to show how brutal the dynamics of the auction can be. In Bangalore, with cameraman Madhu, Rasesh Mandani for India Today.
With that, it's a wrap on this edition. Keep watching India Today. News and updates continue in just a couple of minutes. Goodbye.